Hi, welcome to the next edition of Watching the Standard Meta, and hopefully we can get into a pretty sweet discussion today about the current meta trends. I have 3 decks to talk about. I don't know how long I'm going to be talking about all this stuff because I did just have a gigantic rant on the other channel. So if you have not subscribed to my main channel, link is in the description. And also, subscribe, like the video, all that stuff. And if you have not already, try out Explorer. Just saying. On Arena / Pioneer. It's now officially becoming a rebranding on Arena. So go check that format out. It's actually really good. We need to get more hype into Pioneer / Explorer. As I said, the format is really healthy. It's diverse, all that stuff. So go check it out. We have to talk about the meta changes, and then let's get into the 3 decks I have to talk about. Let's dive in. So we see a huge jump in Is It Prowess? Oculus is pretty good into Prowess. Then you have mono red aggro showing up there alongside it. So we have a bunch of aggro decks and a bunch of combo decks that basically win by turn 3 or 4. So standard is definitely has become a hyper aggressive format. Honestly, it's probably faster than the typical matches of Pioneer, which is a key reason why I actually recommend playing Pioneer. Because Pioneer is a lot more slow. Because you have really good removal like Fatal Push. You have Fiery Impulse. You have Lava Axe. No, I think it's Lava Axe. I get it mixed up. The one that's usually in Phoenix. So you have tons of great spot removal. March, which rotated out of standard like a year or two ago, and etc. Like you have tons of options. I highly recommend trying it out. Except it's not really an aggro format necessarily there. But here, this is a hyper-aggressive format with having Omniscience. I believe this is like a turn 4 form deck. Once it gets the combo, it basically wins. You have your aggro, Oculus. Once it gets an Oculus, which doesn't take that long, it usually just wins from that point. So, and then Pixies are a little bit grindy, but there's tons of different mid-range and Pixie different self-bounce decks showing up all over the place. So, like, it's kind of like the same deck, but like 5 different versions of the same deck. Oh, do you like Esper Pixie? Do you like Orzhov Pixie? Do you like Abzan Pixie? Do you like Demir Pixie? It's like, there's like tons of different Pixies, self-bounce decks, and there's just basically tons of different versions of aggro. So I have 3 decks. Let's get into those. Like I said, try Pioneer. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to like it if you have not tried it already on Arena. But especially like something like if you already have Is It Prowess on Arena, doesn't take much to get it upgraded to Pioneer. You just need Steam Vents, you need Pathway, Otawara, Mana Base is done, and better Graveyard Heat, and stuff like that. Sideboard options. Let's get into the decks. So first we have Golgari Midrange. Has the Wagon. Then has Go for the Throat. Tons of spot removal. And we have Annex, Cut Down, so we have tons of removal except for aggro. We have a Surrock, which is the reason why I wanted to talk about it. Sweet card overall. We have Elves, Baloth, Ooze, Sentinel, pretty sweet. Duress on the board for control and combo. Reclamation for artifact and enchantment removal. We have Anoint for a little bit more target removal against Choking for aggro. Throwback could be artifact enchantment removal or graveyard heat or removal. Or gain life. Baloth and Liege for bounce. Shieldred for the grindy matchups. And we have a little bit of graveyard heat. Possibly artifact and enchantment or enchantment hate. It's probably more for something like Delirium. Overlords. Be better suited for. You probably can get the 6 mana against Overlords. And just blowing up all the Overlords is also pretty reasonable. So that is what all I have to talk about regarding Golgari Midrange. Got 2 more decks to talk about. Let's dive in. So next is a deck that I tried on this channel. It's going to be airing in a couple weeks, I believe. That is Abzan Pixie. Self-balance. Kieran, Pixie, Priest, Siege Rhino, or the Skirmish Rhino, Road Watcher, pretty sweet cards. Sadly, we have to play a bunch of breakers. Midnight Nightmare, we have Nowhere to Run. Shieldred, so good mid-range card. And yeah, pretty sweet overall. If I had to play this in Pioneer, I definitely would be switching these out for Siege Rhino. Sideboard, though, we have a couple Baubles, good against aggro, Anoint for aggro, Baloth for Pixie, Mirrors, Annex, nice against mid-range and control. Flanker, nice little bit of a anti-wrath type card. Once they wrath our board, we could just put this down and just get a big body. Graveyard Hate, Creature Hate most of the time, and I guess some artifacts. Duress for non-creature spells like Control and Combo. And that's Abzan Pixie for standard. Like I said, I might port this over at some point, but probably a little bit in the future because I just recorded this video. It'd be kind of weird to do the next like 2 weeks after and immediately try this out for Pioneer. But yeah, I think this deck is pretty sweet. We got one more deck to talk about. So next is another deck that I tried for a video. It's going to be airing in a couple weeks as well, a week after the other one. And that's the Gruul Delirium. It's gotten a lot more consistent with Teresa Light Shatter as a way to just pitch your artifacts or your enchantments, potentially your instants or sorceries as well. So you could just get Delirium on turn 3, and then you could be attacking for 7 or potentially, 8, maybe even more if you have BC down too. So the deck can be hyper aggressive. Pyroclasm actually mattered in a game in the actual video, so check that out when it actually comes out because I just recorded it tonight. And then we have our Vacuum for Graveyard Hate, plus our Curator, so we have enough of it. Pyroclasm for aggro. Links for decks that have high amounts of non-basics like ourselves. It's kind of weird, but it's true. Chandra for grinding matchups. Reclamation for artifact and enchantment hate. A Bolt for a nice way to answer those enduring creatures. Plus, it does a pretty good job against a decent amount of the actual creatures in the format. Barrage, really good to help against Oculus, assuming they don't have a counter on it, which I don't think there's a way to put that many counters on it in Standard, unlike Neoform and Pioneer. Pick your poison for artifact enchantment removal. Can also hate on, also, I guess, technically, Jeskai Oculus, but we have artifact enchantment exile. This prevents them for their opponent's creature from blocking, which is kind of nice if they have vigilance like Atraxa. The Ghost Vacuum for Graveyard Hate. That is the last deck I have to talk about for you today. If you have not already watched the Pioneer version deck, the video, it's a lot more of a rant about the current health of Pioneer in regards to it not really being played and why that could be the cause and just kind of breaking that stuff down. If you want to check it out, go check it out. And until next time, hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you guys next time.